Alright, I think we are good to go. Hello. Welcome everyone back to the Project Hexagon channel. My name is Gavin Trailer, and joining me in the VC is our third last guest of honor. That is gonna be Stage. Not Stage, Jesus Christ, on the fucking hell. That is gonna be Chiv. I was looking at the wrong freaking list. That's funny. But that aside, Chiv, how you doing, man?
Hope you guys are doing well. I'm chilling. I just woke up like 30 minutes ago, but I'm excited to talk a little bit and share what's going on.
Yeah, I can't lie. I just like woke up from a 2 hour nap before, so we're both kind of in the same boat here. But with that said, I mean, what a fitting way to have our, to have the sort of, precursor or the appetizer to our grand finals map pool showcase with the OWC hit puller himself. Shiv, would you like to tell us a bit about your, experience in the OSU tournament scene? What exactly do you do for the community in general? Because I know outside of OWC pooling, you have quite a few other projects that you have under your belt.
Yeah, so I've been map pooling for about 3.5 years now, maybe. So that's quite a long time. Probably started just around mid 2022. And yeah, if you guys have seen me, I'm currently head pooler for OWC for the last 3 years now. And
Okay.
besides that, I've also pulled for stuff like MREC Grandmaster Cup or Corsace, the Perennial, 4WC, and a lot of like community tournaments. But yeah, I also do like a little bit of like hosting just for fun and some like casting, but it's mainly map pooling here. And I also run a map pooling Discord, which hopefully tries to help people, start out map pooling because it's really fun.
Uh, well, I guess before we begin, how big is your OSU folder? I want to know how many maps you have. Just like as an icebreaker question, because I've always wanted to ask you this.
Um, I don't even know if I have that many compared to other map poolers.
No
Like
way,
I've never
dude.
actually asked this question.
I'm sorry, a
I currently
perennial
have
fooler, OWC fooler has like 5K maps. You heard it here, chat. It's like all the same
I
map.
have 110K. So
Okay, I'm sorry.
uh
That's just not a lot of maps.
probably
Yeah.
not sure where that fits in the ballpark, but yeah, I don't really I used to have like a different like hard drive when I used to play Osu, and I think that had a lot more like farm
Oh.
maps. So this one probably doesn't have a lot of like the TV size stuff, but probably still has quite a lot of maps compared to the average person.
I'm sorry. I don't think many people can say that they have 100K maps in their songs folder. But that's it. Would you like to run us through, how you got into the tournament scene? Like, I believe you were a player before you were a pooler, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, so I used to play Osu. It's
I
kind of a
used to
shocker,
play
but
Osu, man. I used to
um
play Osu.
yeah, it was during COVID when I first started playing like kind of seriously because I just had a lot more time. And I played one of my first tournaments ever was 4-digit World Cup for Canada. And I ended up playing a lot of 4-digit tournaments and a couple open ranked 3-digit ones as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just played a lot of tournaments until I think like yeah, around 2022 I stopped playing because that's when COVID stopped happening, so I just started having less time to play the game. And instead I kind of look towards, see if I could still be active in the community and tournament scene specifically,
Mhm.
without having to play. And I felt like map pooling was a good option because I was already pretty passionate about map pool feedback at the time and having some vocal concerns. And I felt like I could get my hand at it and see what I could do with map pooling.
Were you the angry map pool feedback writer? Why is my number one and number seven? Why is my dada one and dada?
I don't think I was ever angry. I was one of the most important things is that I always felt like I needed to be, I wanted to be constructive, but also
Mhm.
be like generally nice.
Yeah.
So the goal was never to like make map pullers like sad about anything, but rather just be like honest about how I felt about some stuff and giving my take on how I would like improve some concepts. But definitely, I still did type a lot in certain tournaments where it needed to be done, and you know,
And people
it's
heard
it's
it.
funny.
Things were said. Well, it had to be said. It had to be said. But
Yeah.
I mean, wait, I actually want to touch a bit about map pool feedback. What kind of map pool feedback do you like? Do you want to see from your players, and what kind of map pool feedback do you sort of that guy, that guy's feedback is not real. Like that guy's feedback is not real. How do you choose to discern what's productive map pool feedback, and how do you suggest players give productive map pool feedback?
That's a good question. I feel like, well, the easiest answer to being able to filter out what's relevant to you is like, firstly, how much you value the person's opinion. If it's, a seasoned tournament player that has a lot of experience, you can generally feel like, oh yeah, I get what this guy's saying. And usually people who don't have that reputation might be a little more difficult to trust at the start. But it also, I think, depends a lot on how people carry themselves. Being
Right.
very direct in the pool feedback channel, being very honest, and also being pretty open. I feel like pooler to player trust relationships are super important, and having that open-ended communication is like necessary to create better pools in the future.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I feel like when I look for feedback, I look for stuff like player enjoyment, uh, balancing concerns, skill set distribution. But generally, what you see in the feedback channel, it's being typed for a reason.
Mhm.
And, somebody always has something to say about something. So it's just important to keep in mind that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and so are you as well. But you need to be as civil as possible, and just to make sure that both parties understand what's happening and are trying to achieve the same goal,
Mhm.
having a fun and enjoyable pool.
And I'm sure you got a lot of it back when you were starting out, right? And I think as a pooler, it's very easy to get into your own head and feel is offended the right word? It's kind of like you feel offended because you put so much effort and time into making sure that
Yeah.
your each map has less than 100 play count. And so, how do you temper sort of these expectations and approach feedback with an open mind?
Um, yeah, I feel like there was at times even like I think in like 2023 where I would be like frustrated with people with Apple feedback, and I kind of look back at it with like a not necessarily like a smile, but like it's something to improve on, because like map pulling ego is definitely one thing where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I mean, like I have so much experience, like whatever you say is probably wrong because I spent 5 hours making this pool and you just played it for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Um, but I realized that, you know, people, again, as I said previously, like people are saying stuff for a reason, and it's important to, understand where they're coming from.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like, a map pooler undergoes a lot of processes, and then, you kind of can turn into a map pooler that doesn't listen to any feedback. Some guys, ended up going that route where it's like they
I
delete the
don't
map pool
listen to
feedback
any
channel and they just like,
feedback.
you guys can just have whatever I make. And other guys, try their best still to, battle the 1 versus 10,000 and really respect to that. But I think it's very admirable. Um, it's just important to always have a open mind when it comes to map pooling. I feel like when I say this, it not necessarily pertains only to players giving feedback, but other map poolers as well, and being
Right.
open minded to other people's pooling.
Mhm.
I think that's a big part where it's like, you're working together with other people to improve the pooling scene as a whole. And I feel like people in the past would always try to compete with each other, like, oh, I want to be the best pooler or I want to
Right.
be a better pooler than you, rather than it's just like, hey guys, we should all be working together to make great pools for the tournament scene.
Right. It's about an outward perspective more so than, a personal fulfillment sort of thing. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
I think there is still personal fulfillment when with this, it's not just like each singular pool is meant to achieve something, but rather the whole picture.
Right.
But there is definitely some merit to be had, through each you found like a crazy pick and you're proud of it. That's completely fine. That's very valid. I think it's just like, there's both sides of the picture that people need to take care of, and
Yeah.
it's really important for the ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah. And I mean, you were talking about, working with different poolers, and I want to maybe zoom into how you work with your pooling team. I know you personally work a lot with the people in pooling core. I'm thinking like Dada, Wixinator, Rojo, I believe as well. And you
Yeah.
know, at the same time, it's pretty comfortable. I assume you're pretty comfortable working with them, or else why would you? But how would you recommend working with poolers that you've never worked before? For example, you join a tournament and then you're kind of just thrown into a team with different people. How do you suggest, as maybe a hit pooler, how do you suggest combining all of these ideas and effectively putting them into a pool? Because I think there is a tendency with a lot of hit poolers to sort of just strongman the entire pool and just have the rest of the poolers throw in miscellaneous ideas here and there. How do you have a discussion going and effectively make use of your team?
Yeah, this is a great question because I've actually talked about this pretty openly,
Whoa.
on my opinion, and it's also something I had experienced a lot in the past as well.
Mm.
Um, I have a very, maybe, I guess like very like confirmed, I guess, opinion on this, and
Mm.
that's I believe it's really important that the head pooler makes the rest of the map pooling team A feel included and B feel like they're actually, important to the team. I feel like a lot of the times pooling teams can dissipate or die out just because the head pooler doesn't respect his teammates, and it's really important to make sure that you can accompany for each and every person you're working for and making sure that everyone feels like, they have a reason to be here, they're here to help out. And, when you give that floor to your co-poolers, they'll, you know, help elevate you as well because it's like a system where everyone is trying to make the pool
Right.
as best as possible rather than like it should never be like fighting, right? So when I first started pooling, I actually generally had decent experiences because I would only pool for community tournaments for the first couple pools I made, and I got invited to a relatively big tournament. And I'm not gonna name obviously because pretty much what happened was that um, since I was like relatively new, like the head pooler pretty much didn't give me much room at all, and I felt like really disrespected at
Right.
the time. And it was really important to me that the poolers that I work with, I always wanted to make sure that they, felt welcome and, we could always work on the same page. I will shout out like one pooler that I worked with that I always felt like um, treated me super well at the start was Kanyo. And this guy was
Okay.
like one of the best poolers of 2020, 2021 at the time. And then he was on his way out when I started pooling, but I still was able to catch a couple experiences with him. And I felt like it was really awesome seeing that, he had so much respect. Now he has like a kid, by the way. He's like 26, he's
What the
married. Like he
fuck?
was on like a
He
different
has
path,
a
yeah. But
kid?
yeah,
What?
but
He's locked
super
out.
great.
He's locked out
And I
personally.
think it
Fuck.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, I really took that open-mindedness to approach it. It's just like, like you can learn stuff from map poolers that isn't just raw map pooling, like how they work and how they treat other people in the scene is really important. And yeah, I think that it is something that is integral to having not even a team, even in a duo, if you're working together, you just need to trust the other person
Mm.
and make sure that you guys are communicating as much as possible. And that's going to make the best case possible. You don't want to make somebody feel left out, right? They're here for a reason and you need to
Agree.
work together.
Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. I mean, that is the essence of working in a team, correct? But I'm also thinking about what if how do I phrase this kind of question? When people join in a tournament, especially if they're not particularly close to you, uh, I'm sure you understand that sometimes there's this sort of tendency to be less proactive, and all this inclusion things. From what I'm hearing right now, it sounds like it's people trying to help you and then you being receptive to their help. So, do you have any advice for like outreaching perspectives to try to like make sure quote that everybody is engaged in the tournament?
Yeah, I feel like the firstly, to answer your point about engagement,
Mhm.
I feel like what not only do you have to treat your test players with respect, but you need to treat your players as well. If you respond to feedback earnestly and give people, fun things to do, always be active as like a host or map pooler, you'll earn the players' respect no matter what, and they'll be looking
Mhm.
forward to playing whatever you have. Um, and I think another way you could take this question is like how to motivate people who don't feel like a maybe don't have that uh I guess like personality to really like put themselves forward,
Right,
or
right.
B just have that can't really find that motivation. Um, it's really up to you to make sure that comfort is a really important thing. It's not gonna be like pooling is actually a very nice way to actually I feel like establish like a great relationship in tournaments, because you're just sitting here for 3 hours just talking about the most obscure thing possible, but it's like the other guy completely understands what you're talking about every single time. And I
Yeah.
made some great friends from
Oh,
pooling
cool.
alone, as like a base, right? So I think it's really important to, always prioritize having fun, making sure everybody is comfortable, and that will just always set you up for a great pool. As long as the worst thing you could ever do, I feel like, is like
Yeah.
when poolers fight with each other and then like you can tell in feedback they don't even trust each other. It's like really embarrassing for the tournament as well. But you just really need to have that,
Oh,
line of trust. You should never be fighting with your other co-poolers.
you should settle the beef inside before it gets out to the public, Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that definitely, and that definitely makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of what we're saying here, or a lot of what you believe in pooling, is just that working as a team comes before the pooling, and the pool itself will be improved as a result of good teamwork and such. Is that? I mean, am I right to say
Yeah.
that? Yeah, no.
No, I think that's completely fine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How I think now is a good time to perhaps switch around to playtesters. Funnily enough, we asked you this question like what 9 months ago, way back. But I think there are some points in that that early 6WC meeting that I think a lot of people could use. Playtesters typically, in the past, a lot of people, a lot of conventional or traditional poolers just give them a channel. They say, "Here, guys, here's a pool," and that's about it. How do you go about making the most of your playtesters?
Um, yeah, playtesting is really important, and just like everyone else, when I first started pooling as well, I would just like, yeah, just poke like random people and be like, hey, like, can you just test out my pool?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like as time went on, I was like, there's got to be a more efficient way than me just
Yeah.
pinging in and hoping that people are gonna respond. So I started doing a lot of things with test playing. One thing was that I created like kind of like a detailed test playing system where
Yep.
instead of asking people to test the entire pool, I would give people a skill set to test every single week,
Yeah.
and it would make sure that
Mm-hmm.
people only had to test like 3 to 4 maps a week, but it would be directly relevant to their skill set, and also relevant for their feedback. A lot of the times, if you just ping people that play the pool and then they just play like stuff that they aren't even supposed to be playing in the match, the feedback might not even be useful, right?
Right.
Because like they're not even the target audience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to, you know, give people the floor and resources they need, and at the same time, for the test players to trust you, you need to be able to, respond well enough for them to be like, okay, I get where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and be very open about your decision making.
Yeah.
I feel like these two things are super baseline, and test playing is still really hard to achieve. I think a lot of people still ask me like, where do you find test players? I always say just like you need to
Yeah.
like find friends. Like I don't even know how to describe it at this point, but um, it's just really important to have that level of trust. I think I've said this so many times. The entire tournament scene is
Trust.
on
Trust.
trust. Like
Yeah.
no matter from as a map pooler, the players need to trust you, other map poolers need to trust you, the host needs to trust you, and the test players need to trust you to make sure that you deliver a good pool. And especially for large tournaments like OWC or the perennial, there's a lot of people trusting you to post something off. So it's really important that you maintain these types of things with your test players as well,
Right.
and are able to effectively communicate with them. Make out that their opinions are well heard. Tell them when their opinion isn't that valid, but otherwise, um, you know, give them the floor to do what they need to do.
Right. And I'm also a bit curious. I think these are a bit more specific, targeted questions, but I'm particularly curious. One, how do you go about looking for playtesters? Because I know at least I don't know how much rank restricted you've done in recent times, but as you know, D rankers are usually the most abundant playtesters that you have because they can't play in the tournament. And a
Yeah.
lot of the times their opinions might be skewed. What are your opinions, or what are the ways that you ensure a fair and honestly well-rounded playtester team?
That's a good question. One thing I actually do specifically
Mm-hmm.
for my tournaments is that I like to have test players of um, completely different rank ranges. So, for
Oh.
instance, in OWC, we actually have a couple like 5K test players solely just to ensure that players of the lower rank range are like able to comprehend these
Ah.
maps. And it's really important, you can have the highs and the lows both address well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also important to have test players with different skill set, especially when you treat players like they have like a specific job to do. It's just like, hey man, you're one of my two hidden players, and you need to make sure that the hidden pools like are like solid.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people really would take that to heart. It's like, I have a job. Wow, I only have to check two maps, but I gotta make sure these two maps are really
Ah.
good. I gotta lock in. So it's
Ah.
important to make them feel valued, and spreading out. I'm gonna have one hidden gimmick playtester or two. I'm gonna have one or two easy guys. I'm gonna have one or two like 5K players. Just having the outreach for it, I think is really important. And as long as people understand what they're doing, they're usually very open to test playing, I feel.
Is it like do you have like certain checkboxes that you like fill? Maybe not an actual checkbox, but in your head you have that kind of like
Yeah,
framework.
I would say so.
Right.
In that setup, I would do for test plays. I'd be like, yeah, I need three hard rock guys, three tapping
Ah,
guys,
yeah.
three easy guys, like a couple guys to check the entire pool.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, it's just important to have, I think, a mix of everything. You don't need to have 10 guys testing two hidden maps every single week, right? But you need to have 10 guys testing different skill sets. And, usually I feel like um, two or three test players for a skill set is more than enough.
Yeah,
Unless it's like a really, really big tournament where you need like the extra people.
yeah.
But, it's important that um, you trust the test players and they're able to, have an opportunity to actually give proper feedback to you.
Yeah, no, another oddly specific question. When you assign roles to test players, you were talking about, okay, you are the designated hidden player, test hidden. Are there any times where you're like, okay, you're the hidden player, but I need you to play test something that you're not comfortable with, so I know how it's like for someone who isn't biased because they're insane at the skill set? Is there ever a time that has happened to you?
Not necessarily directed. Usually it's all rounders that test the
Ah,
entire
yeah,
pool.
okay.
That will be like, yeah, this is not my skill set, but I can appreciate it still. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's much value in putting a DT guy playing a hidden two. Like I don't really think it's again, target audience is really important.
Right,
And
okay.
I would assume a DT person, like a player that's playing speed, that has to play the reading pick to fill for his team, is not even gonna care that much because like, yo, I'm not even supposed to be here anyways. It's more important that the reading guys like the reading maps rather than the
Yeah,
fill.
okay.
So, it's obviously good to, take a mental note and have it like in the back of your mind, like, oh, this pick might be too, um, kind of like difficult for like non-reading players to approach.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, you need to draw the line about, where should I dedicate my resources and,
Oh.
where I should put my energy towards.
Mhm.
So I think that it's really important to figure out what your goal is for each slot and what you want the reaction to be.
Right, right. So that was all about playtesters. Now I'm actually curious because you have a lot of experience working in big tournaments. Of course, OWC is always gonna be there, and I'm actually curious. I think pooling. I don't know if you agree, but pooling is usually one of those things alongside GFX that are the main wow factor of the tournament. You're looking at like, oh, OWC, UPATs, the first time that was revealed, that was mind blowing, right? And so for a lot of newer tournament, for a lot of intermediate tournament hosts looking to take their pools to the next level, looking to have that little bit of oomph to their tournament, how do you suggest going about managing all of these, logistical hell, all this logistical hell and whatnot? Because I think someone said it. I think it was Dio. Someone said it really well. It's like when you have so many customs, it becomes less of a pooling challenge and more of a logistical challenge.
Yeah, I would agree. To be honest, I don't actually enjoy full custom pulling that much.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
real.
the main reason why I don't pull Corsace is because they have full customs no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And the like it is a pretty big logistical challenge. You're just like keeping track of a lot of stuff. Um, I think it depends a lot if you're friends with the mappers, if you enjoy talking to them, you're working with people that you actually want to work with. Some people are more self-sufficient than others. Some people need more deadlines. It's just a whole different, like I guess, like ecosystem. And I do agree that, there's a big wow factor with custom mapping, but it takes a great amount of leadership and responsibility, I feel, to really, have a great tournament with a high amount of customs. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's not even that popular anymore. I feel like the main tournaments I've seen the past year would just be like OWC, Res Cup. I would say Corsace, but like they're not hosting anything this year, which is kind of sad. Um, and
Perennial, kinda. I mean,
pardon?
they aren't hosting the. I was also thinking Perennial or
Yeah,
SSOC,
Perennial is like
but
pretty decently
yeah.
custom hosted, but it's a lot of work. Um, I wouldn't recommend it to newer pullers. I don't even think it's not even that fun for me, because my enjoyment comes from finding cool maps and making them work rather than planning a map pool and skill sets and then hoping that the mappers map the skill set properly.
Ah,
That's it. There's
ah,
a lot of
ah.
other problems with that. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I feel like custom pooling is cool. But I really do hope that tournaments in the future can really find that work-life balance of having like a good amount of customs with a good amount of normal maps as well. It's something that's really integral to OWC is that we have a bunch of cool customs, but we also have the classics, so we have the new 2025 ranked maps so that there's something for everyone. Um, and
Right, right.
you want to have that balance. This is also really important is that I feel like it's very uh, key to having a good pool is you want to have maps that are recognizable to players as well. Not every map needs to be the coolest new
Big
thing
Black.
that's under 50 play count because then it's going to be like a whole like new thing, right? Like it's a full new pool.
Mhm.
You can have comforting picks, like a couple picks for people that rely on. Yo, I love this Kakushi Goto map. Like, it's gonna be awesome to have a fallback pick, something that can give comfort to the players, and it will help contrast the customs well. Because when all of your pool is custom, then
Oh.
people don't really care that much about the custom, right? Because it's all custom now. You want to make sure you
Ah.
can highlight the cool stuff. So you don't want to oversaturate your pool with this. It's all about balance, but it's really important for each pool to figure out what type of balance they're going for. Sure, man, if you want zero customs, be my guest, man. Like that's also an option.
That's peak. That's
But
hype.
good luck finding some skill sets at sudden skill like star ranges.
Yeah, no, and I think you mentioned this before. That's also partially the reason why OWC's mapping team is so strict, right? Because you mentioned um wanting to elevate each custom map to a point where it's unique. Because I mean, what are your opinions on like a lot of tournaments nowadays just focusing on the wow factor of custom maps to the point where there's so many custom maps that it feels diluted.
Yeah,
Is that a
I
problem that
actually
OWC
think
had as well in the past?
thankfully no, because
Okay.
we've been super adamant, at least when I started working on, we were super adamant that we want to have non-customs for each pool.
Hmm.
I guess like yeah, in OWC 2023, I think we had like DJ Meg and Scarlet Rose in the grand
Yeah.
finals.
Yes,
And
sir.
last year we had Bad for Me and No Good Magia. So having
Yeah.
some classic maps is super important for
Some
people to
clip
feel,
farm.
And Cardinal Rave, how could I forget? That's like my favorite map in the game. Cardinal Rave is super awesome, but
Yes. Yes.
you know, it's these types of maps that really get people going and you know, at the same time, it makes all the other customs super cool
Mm.
because, especially for earlier stage pools where, it's more reasonable to have less customs because you can find more maps.
Hmm.
You have that balance of having the one super old map, the one 2025 ranked map, the one, even like other tournament custom map that was like super really cool, but, um, couldn't really get the shine because it was just pooled in one tournament. it's
Ah.
just it just all makes sense when you have everything come together and everyone has something forward to look to instead of saying, oh, it's the next custom. It's like, oh wow, I remember this map. It's from this random Chinese tournament, but it was a great custom.
Ah. Right. 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 And I think while we're on this topic, a very interesting point that I'd like to touch on is, you know, typically when people talk about pooling, you're talking about balance, you're talking about enjoyability, but we've been talking a lot about, recognizability and a lot of non-balance slash fun related ideas. I can you elaborate more on like what you consider as like some miscellaneous pooling concepts? For example, you mentioned right having these recognizable maps in pool. Are there any other considerations that you take when pooling?
There's a lot. Some are way more skits than others. I can get into a couple maybe just to
Yeah, go for it, dude. Go for
um,
it, man.
get to who was poking their brains. For me, okay, firstly, I would say that each pool has their own quirk, and it's important to figure out what pool you think matches your style and what tournaments to sign up for. For me, one of the most important things is song choice. I think song choice is extremely important, if not probably one of the most important things in the game. So
Direct
I
call.
like to really have super diverse pools. I feel
Right.
like um when I notice some poolers, they'll kind of go one of the like either extreme. There's some guys that will only pull rhythm game songs. There's some guys that will only pull
K-pop.
Japanese anime songs, and there's actually some guys that will only pull English songs.
Yeah.
But most important to me is that I like to have a very strict balance of all three,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of other like other language songs, completely obscure like game OST songs. It's really important
Ah,
that
yep.
you have like it's super sick if you just have like some crazy Japanese indie song and then it's followed up by like an English rock song and then it's followed up by like a European
Yeah.
like dance song. Like it is just so cool
Yeah.
when you just have all these like kind of like it's like a pot and you just like put a bunch of different flavors into it.
Hmm.
Keep
And there's
everyone
something
like
for
satisfied
everyone.
because
There's something for
yeah,
everyone.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone. That's the most important thing is that a key pooling concept I use one of these like pooling philosophy things I always talk about is that you don't need to pool for everyone to enjoy every map. You need to pool that make sure that everyone has at least one map to enjoy.
Right.
So
Right.
it's really
Right.
important because if you're sitting here trying to make a perfect pool for all 128 players,
You're
you might be here for
crazy.
9 years. Yeah, but if somebody can walk away with like a hey, I like this map at least, that's better than nothing, right? You don't want people to walk away as like, yeah, I hated this pool, I didn't like a single thing.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Right.
Um, obscure concepts. If you guys are familiar with Terrific Name Tournament, something I was
Oh.
doing there
Oh.
was like I was like making like map pulling puzzles. So like
Yep.
one of the puzzles was like the backgrounds of the maps were important to solving a riddle, and then like another one was like the title of every map. Like if you scrambled it, would like equal like the title of the tiebreaker, but translate it into English. Like it was like some really like schizo stuff.
Yeah, no,
But
I remember reading about that. I was like, what the hell? Why the hell are we doing escape rooms in my pool? Why are we doing
yeah,
escape?
um, yeah, I think song diversity is important. Having fun, putting in weird gimmicks is cool. Mapper diversity is important. From like new age mappers to old age mappers, and different countries have different mapping styles as well.
Yep, yep, that's so
Some
real.
players really look towards that. They can. Some players they just say a jump map is a jump map, and then some players would be like, oh yeah, the Skyflame map and the Peroshki map are two different maps entirely
Mm,
because
mm.
it's like a completely different continent and like the mapping styles are way different.
Mapping styles
But
are
it's
so
important to
interesting.
yeah
Yeah,
have that as also a consideration. And then like obviously like other stuff that's really important like length balancing, BPM balancing,
those are
skill set.
fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm.
would say those are pretty common. That's
Yeah.
probably the surface level I would say for more nuanced topics on balancing for pools.
Mhm.
There's definitely more like some other like super weird stuff, but I don't even know if it's like relevant.
That deserves to be in its own
Uh,
doc, another full
yeah.
length document. But and correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the reason why whenever you approach custom mapping, you look for custom or you request for custom maps that fit a certain slot? I know that there's a good balance like in between just giving mappers creativity as well as having mappers map something that fills all of your crazy consideration that goes into say an OWC pool. Is that also
Yeah.
that funnels in the way that you approach custom mapping, right?
Yeah, I would say it depends on the mapper for sure.
Hmm.
And different mappers, I will give them the resources that they need. I'll give like a good example. One of the coolest like tournament mapping duos I would say is Dallas and Mirage. And these guys, I would like let you know right
Oh,
now, like they just
oh,
actually map whatever they want. They can just do whatever because like we have no idea what they that we want to give them like the space to do
and
so.
it'll always be
So it's really
guess.
yeah. Some mappers they just need to have the level of creativity. They just need to be able to do whatever.
Mhm.
And there's other mappers who you just need to give them, just lay it out for let them like, hey, I just need this from you, and they'll be like, yeah, sure, I can do it, and they'll make a great, perfect map. A good example is Lucent. I would say is really good. He can just map
Oh,
anything like mechanics wise, it's perfect, and we
man,
can give him
he's too
anything
good.
that he needs. So I think it's really important to figure out what the mapper's needs are and how you can work around them is super
Yeah,
integral.
and
For me personally,
mhm.
also yeah, I think like if I ever have like a specific vision for a specific mapper, I'll always ask them, hey, can you make this? Because I really think that you could pop off on this, and you're the only guy. And you might see
Ah.
some doing OWC I might be happy
And
about to
that's the
share.
role thing
So
that you were talking about. That's like saying playtesters, hey, you're the hidden playtester, go for it. It's like,
yeah, it's
wow,
the easiest way of making somebody feel like they're important is just telling them, hey,
you're the
you
only
have a role
one
that you
that
need
can
to
do
do.
it.
You're the only
Please.
one that can do this. I need you like even for map players, I'm like, hey, I need you to pour the DT maps because I can't do it and I trust you the most. And suddenly
Thanks, bro.
I wake up and there's 5 DT maps slotted and I don't have to touch it for the rest of the tournament.
That's
It's
peak.
beautiful.
That's peak. That's peak. Not having the full DT. That's so real, dude. Oh man. Oh man. All right. On the topic of mappers. On the topic of mappers, I was actually pretty interested in Project Love. I don't know. I don't think I've heard a lot about the inner workings of Project Love, and I know that you joined. Was it a year ago, 2 years ago? When was that?
Here we go.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
I've always been a big fan of Project Love. I live react to every single new Project Love video every month or so. And could you run us down? What is it like going to Project Love? How do you find your maps? How do you come up with whatever funny categories that you guys have every single time? And are there some standards that you hold yourself to? And what are they?
um, yeah, I think different people approach love differently because people come from different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
It just really depends on the type of person that they thought was necessary to the team. For me, it's like when I applied, I just like simply said like, "Hey guys, I have a crazy amount of tournament maps that I'd like to get love because, God forbid, these mappers try and make a set." So, um, thankfully, the pitch was good enough, and I had a couple friends on the love team to might have nepotismed me in,
Oh man, I can't
but
believe Shiv got onto the team.
um,
Like I would have hated Shiv to get
uh,
on the team.
what's it called? I think it's like a great way to showcase a lot of maps. For me, yeah, my most important focus is that I can give back to the tournament community and love a bunch of maps that I really enjoyed playing when I was in tournaments. The first map I ever loved was Mervetsi, and then the second one I loved was Sunkus Drop. So you can already see where
Mm.
this is going.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, I think for me, the most important thing about Love Map is that it just needs to do something. It needs to be something different. Um, whether it's that it's a crazy gimmick or it's just a skill set map that like has like no like comparison. I would say like a good example of a map that
Scrap dominant.
is loved that is like yeah this deserves to be loved is DL plus plus by Mirage and Dallas, which is like a 2023
Oh,
OWC custom.
oh, oh, yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
crazy map.
yeah.
Also, that map has like no other like comparison because it's too unique.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, and
I feel like
mhm.
what's up?
And yeah, no, I'm a bit curious as to you were talking about your role. You're like the big tawny man in Project Loved, but what are some of the other roles aside from, of course, the obvious? You have I believe it was Frostless or Miss Magius, was it? Yeah, as one of the mappers on Project Love. But I see some other faces, Bat Ball Plasma, who are more known as players. So I'm wondering, what kind of diversity do you have on the Love team?
Yeah. Um, Plasma, Maxi, or Batball and Skill are definitely all players, and Plasma and Skill are pretty high ranked players at that. I would say the other map on the team is Megamic. Um,
Megumic.
is a big one. Uh, yeah, Miss Megius is a mapper. I believe Momoyo is also a mapper. RHO is kind of like a jack of all trades. He maps, he plays tournaments, but I would say he's probably a mapper at this point.
Mhm.
And there's also Lillian, who's definitely probably I would say one of the more creative individuals like that has like some crazy pocket picks,
Mhm,
depending on the circles you're in.
mhm.
But yeah, I think everyone has their own like niche, which is really important to Project Love. Everyone is doing something completely different. It's really funny when you watch a video and there's just like like a jump spam map, and then you just get the most obscure four-star map ever made, and then it's just like wow, there's just like crazy contrast.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why
At one point, I was like,
that's why
what's up?
live reacting to Project Love is epic, bro. It's
Yeah.
peak.
At one point, I was just like, guys, we need to pick a tech map for this month, and then we need to pick an off map. I was like treating it like a
You're
meta
like
at some point. It was kind of funny. You gotta make
guys,
sure we can't just love five, 8 maps in one month. Like, what's the problem?
what are
We
we
need to
doing? Like they
have
might be the
something for
best
everyone.
maps of all time, but like guys,
Yeah.
we have
I
to.
think we need a speed map loved.
Oh, oh, we need a speed map loved. We need mechanics loved in 2020. I think we should get Moe Kai love. Thank you, chat. Anyways, um, yeah, but that's it. Project Love is always such a cool idea. You know, it's probably alongside featured artists. It's really the thing that it's really one of the things that Osu as a scene has really done to sort of enhance the entire player experience and make the I believe make the mapping community. Would you say it makes the mapping community like it gives them more goals to work towards aside from ranked? It allows expression. Is that right way to put it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say so.
yeah, and I think Project Loved is really awesome. Yeah, that's all I have for Project Loved. Let's talk a little bit about staffing philosophy and climbing the ladder. Oof, ooh, 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 we love talking about that. We love talking about that. Um, OWC. I think I had a question here. How did you get into OWC? Because I think you mentioned you started hit pulling 3 years ago, and then you only started pulling 3.5 years ago. So what's that? What's that timeline, man? You run us down.
Um, so I started pulling in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And 2022 was like I would say it'd be like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So I did one full year pulling before WC.
Mm-hmm.
Or like one and a half, the way you see it, I guess. Um, my method is not that good. I
Oh,
just literally pulled for every tournament I could have,
oh,
and I would
chat.
always just say yes.
It's like I think
And
commentary. Oh my days.
yeah, I was just saying yes to everything. I was pulling for Vietnam. I'm still pulling for Vietnam, actually. That one's not a good
Yeah,
example.
no,
I would
see.
pull for like, yeah, VNOC. I'd pull for like Belgium Cup. I'd pull for Spain Cup. I just pull for like a random
Oh
4 digit tournaments
man.
all the time. And fortunately, it got me, a lot of rep. And back then, people were really happy with my pulls
Oh.
because nobody was. I was like doing something a little different where like people were still super stuck on like Skyflip No Mod 1, Knowledge King No Mod 2, Spartan No
Uh.
Mod 3. And I just like
Oh.
kind of like came in and I started bashing out a bunch of
The pooling
tournament
revolution.
maps now. And then like now people are just saying they're all like Chiv picks because it's really funny. You see like Hysteric Night Go and Sunkiss drop and like a bunch of other stuff. But yeah. And I kept pulling, and in 2023, I think I had some of my best pulls at the time.
Mhm.
I made this one random 4 digit tournament with my friend Jamara. It was called Banging Nose to Beatdown, and
Oh.
that map pool, that tournament got a lot of positive feedback because it was just like, wow, these pools are like amazing, and you guys ran this tournament super well.
Mhm.
And then I pulled for some random Canadian tournament, and it was called like SFS, which is like a Canadian Squeegee, and Azer was playing, and he
Oh.
liked the pools, and then turns out that one of the poolers on the team actually left at the time. And
It's a
they
power
just like
vacuum.
shoot me in. So I got like really lucky, by the way. Like I don't even know if he left, if I would have even been on the team at that year.
Right.
So yeah, it was definitely a lot of luck for me. But one thing I've always tried to make sure is that the poolers I work with now are people that deserve it, people that work really hard. I think OWC pooling team is probably public at this point, but we did change a couple guys in the team based on some people's interest.
Mhm.
And yeah, like now we have I always want to say like I want to really reward hard work and like being able to scout out people that have the talent and the necessary like devotion to pulling.
Mhm.
And I think my way of getting into OWC by brute force and just like pulling everything is not
Not
that efficient.
healthy.
But
That's not healthy.
what I want to do is that make sure that other people who can pull, don't have to do this.
Mhm.
It'd be cool if you pull for everything that you wanted to, but there's definitely more efficient ways for sure.
Mhm. and I'm a bit curious, it's not like commentary, right? You can commentate everything and it'll always be different and you always get new inspiration and you improve. But with pooling, I can't help but feel at some point you run out of maps to pool. How do you like constantly have new content to throw out in your pools? Despite like doing so many for so long.
Um, I have a lot of different methods that some might be more skillful than others, but I
Okay.
do like I have like on my computer I have like collections, and I think collections are really important to pulling.
Hmm.
And each collection has over like 1,000 maps, maybe for like the main skill sets, and then like maybe 500 or less maps for like sub skill sets.
Hmm.
But I have like a folder for awkward aim, folder for like regular aim, folder for mechanics, folder for like
Wait, is this on
alt,
your
folder for
client? Is
like
this on your
standard alt.
client?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
So, the most important thing is that for me is that uh, I would dedicate maybe an hour every week or hour or two every week to browse new maps in the rank section, browse mapping notifications, browse other tournaments that I recognize had cool pools, and people just gave me recommendations for maps as well. And that would be able to keep up a decent amount of upkeep, but yeah, at some point you do start running out of maps. So what I would do is like I would reuse maps in tournaments with pretty different player bases. Unfortunately, there would be like a crossover sometimes. So people would complain as like, "Yo, I just played this like a month ago. Like, why is this here again?"
My bad,
But I
gang.
mean, it was just
There are
like,
only so many
it's
maps.
like one or two guys. But my opinion is that some maps are just that worth it. Some maps are like irreplaceable, and they give like a feeling that nothing else can like give. If I pull Sentimental Skyscraper by Hollow Wings twice in a row, like you already know why, because like nobody else made this map and it's impossible to find a different option.
Oh, it's my bad that
But
this
you
pool
know,
is just incredible. This map is just incredible, man. My bad.
this map is just beautiful, man. Like what can you do?
Oh
But yeah,
man.
I think especially at my peak when I was pulling like 5 tournaments at once. Don't ever do that, by the way. This is the worst
This
mistake I ever
guy.
did.
This guy.
Um I would recommend, I think the best pulls are made when you're doing one pull and one pull only.
Hmm.
Um because you can dedicate all your good maps to one pool. Like the moment I had to start spreading out my maps to different pools, like
It's like
it's just like so
no.
bad. It's like no, like what? And then like it's just too much is happening.
I need to save this for OWC. I need to save this for.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
now, yeah, I'm only pulling OWC and the Vietnam tournament because the Vietnam tournament is nice because I can use all my OWC reject picks to just like have like a, oh
Ah.
yeah, this didn't make it OWC, so you guys get it now.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, I would say that different pullers have their own methods, but I feel like probably to the extreme like degree I was doing it, like I think that you just have to have a crazy amount of like I guess like discipline and dedication
Mhm.
towards finding new maps and having this resume or regime
Pooling
side
mindset. Pooler
of
mindset.
yeah,
Right.
just like
Yeah.
I gotta get the pool done. One thing for me is that I always wanted to make sure the pool is good, so I would never like I think maybe there's been like only a handful of teams where I would try where I wouldn't do anything, but I would always try and have as much involvement as possible because I want to make a good pool as well.
Mhm.
I don't want to be on the team and just do nothing. And the worst case is I don't want to be on the team and then the pool that turns out is bad because I didn't do anything.
Right. Knowing that you could have done something there. Right.
Yeah, no, like look, it was like, yo, like why did we put this in, guys? I remember I had like COVID for 1 week and I looked at the pool, I was like, guys, like I should have just pulled it when I had COVID. Like fuck it.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, no, I should have pulled it while I was like sick and dying. That's real. That's real.
Yeah,
That's
I should
real.
have pulled it when I was on my deathbed.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. All right.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end, and I can't push it for too long. I can only go on for like 15 minutes more, or else Mirage Fire will literally kill me. So let's
We'll have
get.
the showcase soon.
Gosh, God damn it, I hate this shit. But I'm a bit curious. How has your approach to pooling, or how is your approach to pooling big tournaments like OWC different from different from your other tournaments, if they're different at all?
All we see is like a multiple month process.
Yeah.
And there's just like weekly meetings and there's like a crazy amount of work being put into it.
Hmm.
Um, Compared to an average community tournament, I might pull for like 1 hour a week and then just call it a day and then get some test playing and then we're done.
Yippee!
OWC is like a non-stop cycle from start of July to whenever it ends, like December.
Because of all the
I
customs,
think
is it?
like customs and a lot of like pooling management, like the pools have to be that good, so it's really
That's true.
difficult.
That's true.
Um, like Crunch Week is usually like in November when we're about to like push out grand finals.
Oh, don't
And
tell them
I
about our
think
grand finals. Don't tell them about
like,
6WC grand finals. Oh man.
I remember like literally waking up and be like, guys, we need to fix a bunch of maps. All the customs need to be fixed. And
Guys,
I
this
think I
grand
pulled
finals
maybe
full
like
of shit. Guys.
20. Yeah, yeah, guys, this pool is so trash. Like, what do we do? I remember last year in OWC, we were like, okay, guys, we're gonna have a 2 week buffer, so no more changes after 2 weeks. And then we
And
would
then
take
we
this to
changed the entire
quarterfinals,
pool.
and then quarterfinals, and then Dada drags me into a car. He's like, Chiv, we need to redo this entire pool. And I was like, yeah, we messed up really bad. So we had to set ourselves back up a week. So grand finals took the hit because now we're only 1 week before grand finals. We still need to
Oh
QA like
my
10 maps.
days.
Like shout out to Henry and Conrad. They like solo QA'd a the Nomad
Oh.
4 like organics decay for like at least like 6 hours each. And I remember me and like Alden and Aza just sitting here doing our best to like revive this Arliss map for like Sky of Twilight. Like it was like so
Oh.
funny. Yeah.
Guys, this pool is shit.
But
How is it so shit? We started 6 months ago.
yeah, this for what do we do for 6 months if we are not even done on maps yet?
Oh man.
So this year we're like even a month ahead in schedule right now, so it's really chill. But
Who knows? Who knows? Who
um
knows?
yeah, I would say like it's definitely a different experience. I feel like OWC is super fulfilling.
Yeah.
Um and I was so happy after like 2023. And 2023 was really interesting because I was a new puller to the team
Mhm.
and I joined the team and I was like, that's awesome. I'm just gonna be chilling in my corner. I'm gonna link a couple maps. I'm gonna just, I don't want to be like too like overbearing or I don't want to like overstay my welcome, right? I just want to help out where I can. And then I sat there for like 2 weeks and I was like, hey guys, is anything gonna happen? And then yeah, I was at the time when like I think like Azer was just so busy and Dada was also Dada just never does anything. Like fuck that guy. But
Oh, oh fuck.
it was like
Base
I
ship.
think OWC lacked a leadership figure. In 2020 and 2021 they had OMG4s, and then in 2022 they had Sayo. And then 2023 it didn't really feel like anybody was there to take care of the management stuff. So I kind of just started hosting the meetings and then it kind of just
Ah,
worked
you
out
took
well. And then
initiative.
yeah, I locked in, and then 2020 after 2023 we did a meeting, and they're like, "Yo, do you just want to like admin for 2024?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, man." And then here we are now.
Hey, do you want to like be the
Um,
host of the biggest OC, one of the admins of the biggest OC tournament? Like,
yeah, it's awesome.
damn,
And
damn.
then I still enjoy it a lot. Don't know how long I'll be pulling OWC for, but I've always said it's like I feel like if there's people that are hungry for the chance, I always want to give it to them.
Mm,
Shout out to FC Easy because I think
that's easy.
he's the new pool on OWC this time, and
Yeah.
he's been doing wonderful things. If you guys heard about China Land, which is like a very big tournament this year,
Oh,
he's just
hey,
doing
Perry
beautiful
streamed for
things
that.
in that tournament.
Mhm.
I know it said I was a pooler as well, but I might have done 10% of the work, so it's okay.
It's,
10% out
yeah.
of 90 or 100. So I would really like to highlight him. And
Wonderland
the
Cup
other two
host as
map
well,
poolers.
right? Wonderland, or was it
What's
Badly
up?
Wood? Was he Wonderland or Badly Wood
Yeah,
Cup host?
it was Valley World Cup. That
Ah,
tournament was
yeah.
really good as well.
Badly Wood Cup is insane. Yeah.
Um, yeah. And the
That.
other two map poolers, yeah, FCZ does a lot of the management stuff as well now, which is cool. Because I started like ushering him. I was like, yo, he's gotta do more
I
stuff. Like,
mean,
I trust you, bro. And then
oh. I
the other
mean,
two map
like,
poolers are more specialized.
I'm like hearing all of this, but like you say that you got into the team by luck, but I mean, when you got onto the team, you jolly well made like the best you could with it, and I think that in itself sort of like justifies you being up there because at the same time, there is luck, but there's also the effort in the sense that you pulled so many tournaments, and then when you got to OWC, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take that torch. I'm gonna lead people, and you weren't afraid to do it, right? I
Yeah,
think that's something
I feel
that,
like
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like 2023 was like the start of it as well as like it was my first time pulling such a large tournament. I mean, I did like yeah, Corsairs closed and Emma Grandmaster Cup, I think,
Mhm.
but I was like, damn, it's gonna be a really tough challenge. And we broke slot pulling at the time, so we were like,
That's
yeah,
right.
guys, we're gonna
That's
get a lot of
revolution.
flack for our pulls. It's gonna be crazy. But I feel like 2023 really set up a 2024.
Mhm.
And now 2025, I'm just like, hey guys, we have all the cards now. If we don't make 2025 the best pulls OWC has seen, we might have messed up. So I'm very
Damn.
confident. that there's beautiful things happening right now, and you guys will be able to see it
Mhm.
in the showcases starting. I think actually it's like almost. Oh my god, it's like
It,
next month.
good luck,
Oh my god,
Chiv.
it's
Good
next
luck,
month.
Chiv.
Oh my god, oh
Oh
my god.
my
No, we're
days.
cooked. We're actually cooked. I need to go lock in
It's
later.
time to lock the fuck in. But yeah, while we are coming to the end, I'm running my stay. I'm overstaying my welcome. I'm very curious. All right. We are talking a lot about your micro, about things that you do in pooling, your mindset when it comes to pooling. But I want to take a outward look, to see like what you have done for the community as a whole. I know you did Project Love, but more importantly, I want to talk about what you aimed to do with mapping core. And you mentioned you came in at sort of a pooling renaissance era where we were killing slot pooling, we were innovating in the pooling scene, and so what would you say is your biggest impact in the tournament, and what kind of impact are you looking to leave on the tournament with your future projects?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
I feel like impact is kind of hard to judge from my point of view. I feel like I never thought about it too much. I did have one point, which is like I want to pool for every big tournament like once. I did it, and I was like, wow, that was so useless. Why did I do that? I was just like, I thought it'd be cool. Is like, in 1 year I pulled Ember Grandmaster Cup, OWC, Perennial, 4WC, and Corsace. So it was like I hit all five like big targets.
Damn it!
Um,
Damn it! I'm empty.
I
God
was
damn
like,
it!
yeah, I did. Wow, I did. And it's wow, this is not worth it. I guess like I think most important thing is that I'm really happy with how newer poolers have been going
Mhm.
towards. I feel like pooling is much more open-minded now, both from players and map poolers as well.
Right.
Um, it is super awesome to see, pools being so expanded upon because when I played in 2021, I was getting super mad because I would see people would complain about me reusing maps. Now, when every tournament was doing that in 2021, where you see Knowledge King Nomad 2 and Film Number 1 every week, but it's just on a different song and like 10 BPM higher, that was making me crash out completely.
Mhm.
So it's awesome to see a bunch of new poolers all have this mindset. Hey guys, we're going to make something different. I'm going to make something happen. That is just so cool because only a couple map poolers are doing that in 2020. It was really just Kanyo, Megamic, Dada, and OMG Force. I would say would be the four, and Nick. I would say those are the five
Nick,
biggest
yeah.
guys at the time. Um, and now it's just like you can't. I don't even know what you would call a conventional pooler. Like people were saying, like chip pulling is now conventional, which is crazy because I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. So like it's just super interesting seeing everyone bring something new to the table, and it's really awesome to see that pulling is evolved into this point. I feel like it's super cool seeing all these new maps being able to fit in, and I'm just super satisfied with how it's gone. And my goal is still to improve the pooling scene as much as I can, getting as many new map pools as possible, introducing people to the scene, and just making sure tournaments are still more fun. I know people are saying tournaments might be dying, but the most
Bro,
important thing
we're
as
not
map pools
hitting
we can
COVID
do is
numbers again, bro.
yeah, we're not hitting COVID numbers ever again, but the most important thing is just making sure people have a lot of fun.
Mhm. Mhm. And moving forward in the tournament team, I don't know how long you plan to remain in the tournament team, but I think you mentioned open-mindedness, and I think that's a really meaningful thing to touch on because Osu is a game that prides itself on having like any song under the sun, and I think it's sort of counterproductive when you have songs, or when you're so limited in your song choice, when you're so limited in your map choice, and it's not fully utilizing the charm of Osu being so open, having so many songs at your disposal. So I think that definitely resonates a lot with me as a player personally. But yeah, uh,
Yeah.
I think moving forward, I mean, do you have any large projects that you wanna like share? Is there anything in pooling core that you are planning to do? And just now's your time. Now's your time to plug. Now's your time to plug.
I hope you guys will be excited for OWC 2025. I think we have a lot of super cool things in store. There's some, I can't even leak too much, but like if you guys are really interested in custom songs, when the semifinals pool
Origami
hits,
Angel, please.
there's gonna be literally beautiful things on the screen. I think you guys are gonna be super excited, and I don't even. Oh my god, don't even get me started on Grand Finals tiebreaker. This is the best one I've ever heard.
I,
It might. It's
I,
better than parts. It's better than RPG, and that's a crazy thing for me to say because I've been glazing
oh
RPG
my
since I was born.
god. I'm ready to guess. I'm ready to
This
guess what song it is by the
this is the
preview.
year. This is the year. And you
Okay.
know, shout out to Azer, Dada, FCZ, Riot, Batball. Like, there's so many guys working on the tournament this year. Like, I was just saying, it's just like, you know, everyone is here. We have all the cards. Let's
Everyone is
make it
here.
happen finally.
Oh.
So I think it's gonna be super exciting. And yeah, as for Pulling Core, I think we'll be hosting contest number 3 soon because I delayed that for a while to focus on other stuff.
Oh man.
But yeah. And if I have anything else super big, it doesn't exist yet because I can't think of it. But definitely will be still here for a while. I've always enjoyed pulling a lot. I feel like it's really fun. And it's a nice way for me to stay in touch with a lot of my friends because, you know, a lot of guys still play tournaments and, you know, I can keep in contact with them while having broken hands. So,
yeah, no.
yeah.
That is real. I guess like one last question to wrap everything up. What will you say, or how do you think pooling as a whole has changed you as a person, you as a leader, and what kind of fulfillment do you get in pooling that keeps you coming back year after year?
As a person, that's interesting. I think pooling definitely also impacted my career choices a lot.
Really?
Yeah, so I majored in engineering,
Mhm.
and I studied mechanical and computer engineering for my
That's
undergrad.
smart as hell.
And in 2023, um, after like 2024 as well, people were just like pretty much like, "Yo, Kevin, like, or Chiv, why don't you do like a project management role? Because you seem to be really
Mm.
confident in your leadership skills and you have like the right mindset for it." And I was like, that was a really good idea. So I brought it to my parents and they were like, yeah. So currently, I plan on starting my grad school for my MBA in January. So that was really awesome because it kind of gave me like a full career path where it's just like, okay, I can just do project management for the rest of my life and it's probably going to turn out well. And I feel like as a person, besides like the career stuff, I met so many people that have like directly changed like the way I look at you know, pooling and also how to interact with other people. Is super important, and it like drastically improved my leadership skills for sure, I think.
Mhm.
So I actually forgot what you said after that part of the question. I
Fulfillment,
just completely blanked.
fulfillment. What keeps you coming
Oh,
back every time?
you know, I just enjoy like a lot of things. I enjoy finding new music. I enjoy working with other players. I enjoy making players, you know, have fun. You know, showing players some beautiful maps and some beautiful songs. And I feel like all of this in total, as well as, you know, feeling like I have, you know, like a job to do. Like I can need to save pooling. Um, you know, that's enough fulfillment for me, and I'll do my best to make sure that it gets done.
Mhm. That's honestly all I needed to hear, man. Any last words for aspiring poolers in the chat? Because I think people love you, dude. People freaking love you. I think this is one of the biggest receptions or biggest audiences that we've had for an interview.
That's awesome. I feel like again, for all those who want to still start out pooling, because again, you don't have to be a good player to pool. You really just need to have the drive and sense for it. I just recommend getting started, you know, finding out, you know, why you want to pool, finding out what maps you want to pool, what you want to make different,
Mhm.
and you know, just you know, getting towards it. I feel like there's always tournaments that are gonna be looking towards, you know, finding map poolers and, you know, working with people.
Mhm.
And currently I would say that people are super open minded when it comes to this. You know, you can always find very kind, hopefully, head poolers, you know, that are willing to work with new, inexperienced map poolers, you know, put them on the board. And you know, it's just super important to me. I think that, you know, we can keep this going, keep this system growing and growing. And, you know, I hope everyone can, you know, give map pulling a shot because it is one of the most fun things you can do in OSU, I feel.
Yeah, yeah, that hits, man. Oh my goodness. All right, I think we've been here for quite a while, and it's been an hour, and the pool showcase is supposed to start in a minute. So good luck, have fun with that. Do you have any last words to say to the stream before we close it out for good, and move into our grand finals pool showcase?
Yeah. I want to wish you guys, you know, a great Grand Finals Map Push Showcase. I hope it's going to be super exciting. And that's all it for me, I think. So
Mm.
thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much, Shiv. As Glory Days is coming to, welcome us out of this lovely interview with you, Shiv, I would like to say pleasure has all been mine. You know, you've been a great help to 6WC full stop as a whole. A lot of our management and stuff was all came from that meeting that we had at the start of the year. It's been a hot second. We were talking before we got into this call, and you know, I'm very grateful for the impact that you've left on us as a 6WC team, and I do wish you the best with whatever you have going in store, be it OWC, be it anything else that you're looking to give back to the community in the future. So, huge shout outs to you, man, and I wish you the best, dude.
Thank you so much. Same goes towards you. All right. And yeah, hope you guys have a great grand final showcase.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Yeah, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close it off. My name has been Gamri Kirilla. His name was, of course, Chiv. This has been the Slider Break. You are watching the Project Hexagon channel. Stick around for our grand finals map pool showcase. That is going to happen very, very soon. We hope that you guys are as excited as we are to finally be done with pooling. Oh my goodness. But, you know, don't go anywhere. We'll close the stream off. We're gonna do a quick reset, and I'm gonna pass the streaming to Mirage Fire very, very soon. So till then, Chiv, goodbye, man, and I wish you the best. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye bye.